Hello, everyone. This is Wayne Walker, the Carnivore Hypnotist, and welcome to the Hypno Lions Roar podcast. I have an interesting subject matter for you today, and it's one that may hit home for some of you that may find it a bit challenging, if you will, from addressing it, because it's going to be about some personal responsibility, but at the same time, there's going to be a little bit of it to let you off the hook. Okay. And of course, going to be talking about the subconscious mind and how it plays with your life. Because you're exactly where you are in life today based on your actions. And your actions, many times, are dictated by your subconscious mind. Not that you're consciously making those decisions to be where you're at, although sometimes you do. And you do have the choice. But the subconscious mind creates the habits. It creates and it holds the information for how you make decisions and why you make decisions and your directions. Have you ever heard the term? What's the definition of crazy or insanity? It's credited to Einstein, but I have no idea. But it serves a purpose. It's where you do the same thing over and over and over again, but each time that you expect a different result. And that never works. In order to get a different result, you have to do different actions. You have to put different actions in place. And the subconscious mind, because of it's been programmed since you were a kid, a child, it's got those data points of information that drive you and basically guide you in your decisions of how you make them. And it pushes you, and it likes, the subconscious mind likes repetition. It likes consistency. So if you're presented with a problem, that information is brought to you, to the conscious mind. Conscious mind analyzes it and say, yeah, that's what we're going to do. Well, different problem, different day brings the same information. The process of making that decision or acting or whatever it is presents it to the conscious mind, and conscious mind looks at it and goes, oh, okay, yeah. And then you're off to the races. Have you ever said to somebody or had anybody say to you that about somebody, a relative or somebody you know, or maybe even about yourself, says, yeah, that's just Bob. Bob is consistent. He's going to do this. Well, that's the subconscious mind. Now, if Bob is doing things and wanting outcomes differently, then he has to change the information within the subconscious mind in order for it to bring forth different information so Bob can act differently. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Makes sense up here for me. But there are many times that we focus on things, actions, and we get into this rut of acting and reacting. It's like relationships, work, dealing with your kids, all these things, how you react to stressors. Now, it can be good or it can be bad. I mean, it's if you have a child that comes to you and says, Daddy, watch me, and they do things in a funny way that make you laugh, then they're going to keep coming back. They're going to do that action because they want to get that reaction from you. You're going to look at that, and you're going to find it funny, and it's how you react. And maybe it goes back deeper than that, and you did it with your parents or whatever the case may be. But what I'm trying to say is that there's a consistency in everything that we do, and we don't typically deviate from that consciously. Why? Because it takes too much effort consciously to do it. For example, if you're doing the carnivore diet, and the carnivore diet has very specific ways of what to eat, what you're going to eat. There's going to be majority of the stuff that you're not going to eat. But let's say that you've gotten involved with the carnivore way of eating, and you've gone down the rabbit hole, you've studied it, you looked at it, you've got the information, you've watched all the different videos, and go, yep, this is it. That's decision number one. That was the easy decision. Now the decision comes, decision number two, starting. Well, how are you going to start? Well, I got to get the meat. I got to get ready to get ready. And that could take a day to go to the grocery store, throw out all the crap that's in the house that you know you're not going to be eating anymore, the complex carbohydrates and all the processed carbohydrates and the fruits and the vegetables and all that stuff. Decision number three is eating, coming down and eating. Now, if it were that simple, everybody would succeed on the carnivore diet, but they don't. And why don't they succeed? Well, the reason they don't succeed is because they're not sticking to the diet, not because of their own failures, but because of the programming within the subconscious mind, the relationship that you or an individual has with their subconscious mind, or the relationship with food, rather. And it could be with sugars, it could be with carbohydrates, it could be with late night snacking, it could be any number of things that you're needing, that you're wanting to change. You want the outcome that you want are the results by eating the carnivore way. That's what you want. And you want that because of all the stories that you've heard and this, and everybody's gotten the results. And even myself, I've gotten results and amazing results. So people look at that and go, that's what I want. So they want the end result. But the process going through that end to get to that end result has to be followed in a specific way. And if your subconscious mind is not set up to follow that specific way, then you're not going to succeed in the carnivore diet. You're not going to succeed in any diet. Because the fact of the matter is, I mean, regardless of what diet you do, and I really don't like using the word diet, but regardless of which way you choose to eat, those will have success, although limited, although not sustainable, because they all present their own problems, their own issues, their own challenges just by eating that way. So what do? You have to change the 6 inches up here. You have to change the subconscious mind in its approach that's been ingrained in you for years and years and years and years, going back to childhood, of how you're going to eat. You have to change that. And for some people, it's minor. The only issue they may have is just, I just can't seem to get these sugars out of the way. I got to have my sodas, or I got to have my candy, or the sweet this, or whatever the case may be. Well, you need to change this up here. Now, the reality of it is as far as the carnivore diet, we all know, when I say we all know, it's well known that if you can get through the first 30 days of the carnivore diet, that many of the carbohydrate issues, the sugar issues, the overeating issues, all of that will settle down and become self-correcting. But it's getting to that first 30 days, getting through that first 30 days. That is the challenge for people. And it's not your fault. It's programming. Now, you can use willpower, and willpower may succeed. It may not, probably not. 99% of the time, it's not going to succeed because willpower is not designed for long-term use, because you have to put too much conscious effort in it. And it takes too much. It takes too much of an emotional draw from you to where you just get to the point to where I can't continue this. It's too much. So that's where willpower fails. So, and a lot of people, they'll attribute willpower to something that they've accomplished when it's not actually willpower at all. It's a decision. There's a pain and pleasure. There's, having the pleasure is far larger than the pain that you'll have to go to have the pleasure. So there's a whole mind game there, and you can focus on that. But by far the easiest and the most efficient way to change the 6 inches for you to be able to succeed, not only at the carnivore diet, not only eating this way, because look, you've done your research, you've done this, and maybe you're just starting out. The carnivore diet, carnivore way of eating, as I like to say, and I keep saying diet, I apologize, but the carnivore way of eating is sustainable, and it gets results. It just does. But you have to be set up for that. Now, I will tell you that from my own self, the first couple of weeks was a bit challenging, because used to eating more meals, having the carbohydrates, didn't do a lot of sugars. We had cut a lot of that out, although still got sugar cravings. We just didn't keep it in the house. You can't, if you don't have it in the house, it's nothing you can do about it. However, if you go out of the house and you're presented with an opportunity to get something sugar and nobody's looking at this and this, that snap decision, trust me, you're gonna get the candy bar. Okay, at some point because you're not emotionally going to be able to sustain that unless you change this up here. Okay, so changing this and having success in other areas of your life is the same exact way, or the exact process of utilizing hypnosis, because hypnosis is the foundation of change, long-term change. Some people it takes more sessions, some people it takes less, some people it takes one. But my suggestion is to find a hypnotist that you want to work with. And with the internet, with the online, like we're doing here, I have clients all over across the country that I meet with just like this, and there's not a nickel's worth of difference, as I say, between doing hypnosis sessions like this or in person. I enjoy the ones in person because I get to meet people and learn things, and that, I mean, so it's there's a difference, but there's no difference. The results are the same. Okay. So figuring out what it is that you want, what kind of outcome, and then work backwards from there. It's like Dr. Covey, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Begin with the end in mind. Begin with the end in mind. What weight do you need? What blood pressure? Where do you need to learn? Identify all of those things and then work backwards from there. And your plan will write itself. And then once you know exactly what it is, then you can get the 6 inches up in between your ears squared away and put it in line and have the subconscious mind work for you. The majority of people walking around on the street today, the majority of people that you meet, their subconscious mind is working against them. If you walk into your house and your wife is there and she gives you a odd look, and you look at it and go, what? Not a word has been saying, but you have a reaction. That's a pre-programmed reaction because it triggers so many different things. Now, she may have looked at you because you walked in and you had something in your hair, or you had a bug on your shoulder, whatever the case may be, or she may have been pissed at something, but your reaction escalates that. So how do you deal with that? Well, 6 inches up in between your ears. You have to reprogram that to pull back, to self-reflect, to say, to basically come to the conclusion, and then have the sessions to support the fact that you're in control of yourself and you're not going to allow anyone outside of you and the peripheral to dictate your response, to dictate how you feel, to dictate, well, you hurt my feelings. People don't set out in life to hurt your feelings. They don't care about your feelings. They're getting up in the morning trying to figure out how they're going to go through their own life without stressing themselves out. And you're worrying about somebody who said something, reacted to you, and all of a sudden it's hurt your feelings. What kind of nonsense is that? So you have to get this squared away in anything that you want to do. And even if you have limited success, even if you start the carnivore diet in the first 2 weeks of this and you've got that success and all of a sudden you trail off, there's a reason. There's a reason. Self-sabotaging behaviors. And you know what? I don't like using psychobabbled stuff like self-sabotage and but people do set themselves up to fail, and they don't understand why. You look at yourself, and I don't know why I do that every time. Have you ever said that to yourself? Have you ever done something, go, I can't believe it. I do this every time and I don't understand why. Get the 6 inches squared away up top, change the programming, get with a hypnotist that can help you accomplish that and put that nonsense to bed and move forward in life instead of constantly get dragged back, because it's not the way that you were meant to live. It's not the way that you were meant to be. Life should be simple. Relationships should be simple. But you have to have the right programming. And you have to have the right approach to change that programming. And I'm telling you right now, it's probably not going to be talk therapy going on for years and years and years. A few sessions of hypnosis and the stuff is done. But you have to bring some stuff to the table. You have to be willing to go through some things. You have to be willing to reflect on yourself and be honest with yourself. So you don't have to be honest as a hypnotist. You don't have to be honest with me. You just don't. Yeah, I don't need to know a lot of the stuff that's going on up in here and details and all of that. I just don't need to know that in order to help a person to get through that mess. And there's reasons why, which I'm not going to go into right now, but look at what you want to accomplish. Look at where you're at in life. If you're at a place in life, whether it's personally or career-wise or relationship-wise, or how your relationships are with your kids, your parents, your wife, your boyfriend, your dog, whatever, look at that. And if that's something that you need to change or that you want to change, then get yourself a good hypnotist and go to work with them. It may cost you a few bucks on the front end, but over the course of living a satisfying and productive and happy life, you should have paid more than what you were going to end up paying. Probably double or triple, quadruple. So look at it seriously. Allow yourself the benefit to create the life that you want, to get to the point that you're happy, to where you're not struggling. Because it all starts up here. It all starts up between the 6 inches and the 6 inches between the ears. Or you do nothing and you remain exactly where you're at right now. And I'm not convinced that the majority of people who are watching this, me, or listening to me, want to remain there. Because those people have already clicked off and gone somewhere else, because maybe they just weren't ready to hear this message. Maybe you are. And maybe you act. And maybe you contact a hypnotist or contact me. Talk. I give people directions all the time. If I'm not your guy, and trust me, some people they shouldn't work with me. It shouldn't work with me, because I'm not a person that's wishy-washy, and that's not my bailiwick. My thing is being direct and being, not taking a lot of excuses from folks. I tend to be very plain spoken, not in a mean way. I want success for everyone, but some people, we just may not mesh. And if that's the case, I'll help you find another hypnotist. But at least give yourself the opportunity to change your life, to be happy, to be there's a big world out there. And there's people that don't want to go out of their house for whatever reason. Change your 6 inches. Change your 6 inches. So that's my message for today. That's my contribution to people. I hope that you enjoyed the message, or that you've gotten something out of this message. But more so than that, I hope you act on it. And those of you who are doing the carnivore way of eating, continued success. Spread the word to people. This carnivore way of eating is going to explode and is going to change the way people look at nutrition. It's going to have to, because the word's getting out, because everything that we've done thus far isn't working. It's never worked. And the food companies are pushing their last way to try to convince people. They used to be able to present stuff. People are way too educated today. People are watching YouTube videos, or watching doctors, or getting information. They're researching themselves. They're educating their doctors like I educated my doctor. We're too smart for that. But other things are coming down that will try to prevent us from being healthy. And you can trust me on that. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this message. Have a wonderful day. Check out my website. I would ask that you have any questions on that. Our website's at the bottom of the screen here. Continue to listen to my podcast. Spread the word on the podcast. I hope that I'm giving good content and educating people, and that I am doing interviews with different people now. I'm doing interviews with hypnotists, hypnotherapists. I'm also doing interviews with people who have alternative health modalities, whether it be meditation or Reiki or various different aspects of improving yourself. But I'm also looking for people to interview who have gone through the carnivore diet and success, and what it is that made you a success, and get your story. But also if you've experienced hypnosis before. And you'll be seeing some of my clients here soon. I'll be interviewing them. They'll tell you their story. So I'm excited about bringing that to you. There's some things that need to be brought out. Okay. So anyway, you folks have a great day. Have a blessed day. Make good choices. See ya.